Welcome to Hypnotic Authenticity. My name is Chris. I'm a practical, grounded hypnotherapist. I'm based in Switzerland, and this is a space that I have created to foster a genuine sense of inner settling, a place to harmonize with yourself and bring about the improvements to your well-being that, I don't know, maybe perhaps you thought were literally impossible. So my episodes are an invitation to reconnect with all that is alive inside you, to examine the stories that you live your life by, and to maybe soften the edges of what it is that you believe yourself to be in order to create a bigger, broader, more expansive sense of your personal agency and your personal understanding. So I'm going to be talking about identity, about existence, about self-resonance, self-harmony, about authenticity. And that'll all be wrapped up with a sprinkling of hypnosis or guided meditation to help you settle, to help you align and return to yourself. So if you're ready, take a breath and let's begin. I'm going to do a whole series of videos on something that's kind of colloquially known as nice guy syndrome. I think this is quite important for men, but obviously if women want to understand men a bit better, then this might help place things into context. So it's a big meaty subject. It's very similar to authenticity, and it's something which is kind of close to my heart. I can identify with a lot of it. So I thought it might help you. At its crux, the idea of nice guy syndrome is trying to be so nice that it's not really you, but you do it because you think that if you're nice to other people, then they're going to feel good and they're going to think it's you that's kind of made them feel good, and therefore they're going to treat you almost like you're perfect. So by being a nice guy to other people, you are deflecting away from your own flaws and you're appearing to be fantastic to the point where people will, in your mind, treat you as if you're fantastic. Okay, so that's kind of the implicit contract which is going on underneath it. But of course, A, it's not really you because nobody is a nice guy all the time. B, it kind of feels strained. And it's not coming from the nice place in your heart. It's like you're being nice in order to get something rather than being nice for being nice. So you might give things to other people, but you kind of do it because you're keeping the score. You're implicitly buying points that you can use at a later date when you're not so nice, sort of thing. So the whole idea, unfortunately, of nice guy syndrome is that you're not really a nice guy at all, that you're putting on a mask, you're putting on a brave face in the hope that other people will get fooled by this. And even if people consciously kind of think you're a nice guy, there is an element at the back of their mind or in their stomach which kind of knows there's something manipulative going on. Some nice guys will go the full spectrum to the point where they end up doing the pressure cooker, nice, 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 nice. This isn't working, explosion. Nice, 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 nice. This isn't working, explosion. Rinse and repeat. Because the problem with doing the nice guy approach is that you kind of think if it's not working, you should try harder. So you do try harder and it still doesn't deliver what you expect it to deliver. And eventually, you kind of, because you've made everybody else your God sort of thing, and eventually you become resentful to the God which is not delivering back to you. And you become even more selfish and even less of a nice guy sort of thing. So there is a massive schism. There is a massive fracture inside any nice guy. There are 1,000 symptoms that you may identify with. So I won't go through them all, but the idea, the basic premise is that you're people-pleasing to the point where you are alienating yourself. So it doesn't feel like you. You kind of, here's one that might be amusing. If you kind of feel as though you're the nicest guy around, but yet you still don't feel happy. that everybody should be really pleased to be your friend, and yet intrinsically you feel lonely. If you feel as though other men are violent or edgy or a bit dangerous, and you're trying to be different from other men, you're trying to shine out, especially towards women. If you put your intimate relationships on an absolute pedestal, if you're just pushing all of your energy into pleasing your partner, if you're trying to avoid your emotions, if you're trying to avoid other people from feeling their emotions, if you're trying to control the circumstances so that people don't realize there are parts of you that are not as nice as you are trying to portray. That's kind of the basic premise of it. So the end result is you kind of dislike yourself, and the activity of being a nice guy compounds it rather than fixing it. But typically the response is to do it more, to do it harder. If that all relates, have a look. I'm gonna somehow work out how to do a sort of a series specifically on nice guys, because this for me is a massive thing. It is a cultural phenomenon. It is something which not only a lot of people identify with, but a lot of people are now going against, to the point they are exaggerating their masculine traits to the point where that's not particularly pleasant either. So I think it's quite topical. It's a little bit uncomfortable, okay, because it's hard to talk about gender differences without people becoming offended. I'll try my best not to offend, okay, because I don't want to offend, but there is an element of that authenticity which says that when you say what appears to be the uncomfortable truth, if people are not interested in seeing an opinion which is different from theirs, then they will choose to get offended. So it's kind of inevitable. It kind of goes with the territory, and especially sex and gender are extremely sensitive issues. So anyway, I'll try my best to avoid the minefield by nonetheless remaining myself. There was a book, not a book, there's a song, an Alice Cooper song, No More Mr. Nice Guy. And it was, I think that was done in the 70s. And it was redone by Megadeth in the, probably the 90s, I guess. And it's kind of a good song. But there was an element of me, I remember listening to that song and thinking, that's not very pleasant, you know? If the idea of being a nice guy is very important to you, if the idea of not being a nice guy anymore is unpleasant, not being nice to your common man sort of approach, that should signify inside of you that there is something there to delve into, okay? Because I'm not saying by not being a nice guy that you should be an unnice guy. What I'm saying is you should be true to yourself rather than trying to please others to the extent that you alienate and violate your own needs and wishes and motivations, to the point where you don't even know what your needs and motivations are anymore because you've locked them in a box.
Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If it resonates with you, then follow my podcast. I would also personally be really grateful if you might wish to leave a quick rating. It genuinely helps others to discover the podcast. If you personally would like more guided meditations, you want some deeper insights, you'll find all my links in the description. If you prefer a more visual boost, then you might want to check out my YouTube channel called Authentic Life Hypnosis. And if you're looking to do some deeper work that goes beyond one-way audio, then obviously you're very welcome to reach out. Equally, if you have any questions, I'm here to help. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.